within this period now, the rate of unemployment is high. But I want to appeal to everybody that this is what other countries are facing. And not because this is happening, you want to kill yourself or kill anybody. We have to manage. Anything you see, you manage. Like me, I'm a graduate, but I'm not working. I'm hustling. I'm on the street, I'm hustling to earn a living. One day, things may materialize.
Charles is one in millions of Nigerian graduates still hoping to find a well-paid job. This, however, speaks of the country's progress after 59 years of independence. All successful nations at 59 had started showing and manifesting great signs of success, or how they intend to be successful. The Nigerian economy in the past 12 months under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has been a mixed bag.
Because the lamentation is becoming high, people are not doing well. People are not doing well, not at all. The hardship is getting worse day by day.
This is not where we are supposed to be economically. Considering the kind of abundance, natural and human resources we have, I expected that by now, the economy should be where, if not everybody, at least a reasonable percentage of the people should live fine in the country. But if you look at where we are now, I don't think our economy is really doing good.
Under his watch, Nigeria overtook India this year as having the largest number of people living in extreme poverty, over 87 million despite existing recession. There are concerns about the health of the economy, considering that economic growth projections from local and international experts for 2018 and 2019 are still less than 3% growth. This is not good enough.
So I think that there's a two-pronged problem. Number one is that, yes, because we haven't diversified our economy, there's going to be lesser cash flow. Number two is that the crude oil itself is not our own, it's not our resource. Like I always say to people that, he who owns technology owns the resource. We now have to begin to think outside the box, and reinvent this economy. And I believe we can. I think there's a lot of mental laziness that has gone into this epoch whereby we look at everything in terms of crude oil, which we don't even produce, which we don't have the capability to produce even one barrel.
A country of this magnitude and wealth and strength and everything that the whole world knows about, to be suffering from a problem which we ourselves can handle, yet it's still unsolved. So it's something very painful for all the citizens, and I think both the government and the citizens should find a way of solving this together.
The International Monetary Fund in 2018 said more Nigerians have gotten poorer under the President Muhammadu Buhari government, despite this country's slow recovery from recession. While calling for urgent economic reforms, it identified risks to growth, including additional delays to implementing policies and reforms. Even Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, who is in his second term, however, acknowledges this.
Of gross domestic product, but contributed 70% of government revenue and 90% foreign exchange earnings over the years. Past periods of relatively high economic growth were driven by our reliance on oil sector revenues to finance our demand for imported goods and services. Regrettably, previous governments abandoned the residual investment-driven non-oil sector.
Most communities and international organizations have been saying a lot about our country, and we've not been able to say so much because it's not working. Yeah. It's not just working. Growth rate less than 3%, lower than population growth, inflation double-digit, unemployment highest ever. So we have a lot in our cup. I understand government is trying the best to reduce poverty. They've tried to reduce some level of poverty. Unfortunately, Nigeria still has the highest number of poor people in the world.
Today, owing to the mismanagement of our economy, millions of Nigerians have been reduced to subhumans. According to Chris Ngige, Nigeria's Minister of Labour and Productivity, the country's unemployment rate could reach 33.5% by 2020 from the current rates of 23.1%. Nigeria's high unemployment rate has created a bloated and unproductive informal sector, replete with millions of unemployed youth.
Clearly identifies that the structures that have been put in place to facilitate support for SMEs in Nigeria, it's pretty faulty, and that creates the opportunity for issues of corruption. And that is an angle that the government itself must focus on and look at. What exactly is wrong with the structure that we've laid down that is not enabling small businesses to thrive? And if that is done, there's a great possibility that there will be changes in that regard.
You graduate from school, no work. It's high, no job. The places that are job, it's either you have connections or the rest of it, as they say, long leg.
That's actually gone from bad to worst, because I'm not impressed, because I knew when we used to buy something like at a cheaper rate, but now it has gone worse than we expected, because we're hearing something about change, they came with mentality of change. The thing actually changed from bad to worse, so we're not surprised. And now it's another slang again, I don't know what they came with again, better Nigeria, something like that. And honestly speaking, there's nothing better about Nigeria now.
The economy of Nigeria grew 1.94% year-on-year in the second quarter of 2019, easing from an upwardly revised 2.10% expansion in the prior period. With the numerous challenges facing the country, according to these Nigerians, there's truly nothing to celebrate despite 59 years after independence.
So it's not that we are not, but what we are doing is a drop in the sea. We need to try a different approach, and this will be done when, not beyond what IMF is saying, beyond what World Bank is telling us. This will be done when all political parties, all leaders, all people, all tribes, all religions have agreed that the way forward is to diversify Nigeria's economy from primary sector to secondary sector or to tertiary sector. What do I mean by that? The current administration and previous administration, we've heard about the major policy of sometimes was Operation Feed the Nation. It was Green Revolution. Now you're still going back to agriculture. You know what that means? You're diversifying from primary to primary. Nobody grows from primary to primary because you need nature involvement in all of this. What are you supposed to do? What other countries of the world have done? For instance, countries have diversified from primary to secondary. Classical example is China.
A change of government wouldn't happen until 2023, and perhaps the narrative may continue. But how can we turn the narrative of Nigeria into the story of how we succeeded, instead of the perennial lamentations of why we failed? Are we truly independent? Rootstv Nigeria.